As we have said numerous times before, ACBC is committed to the authority and sufficiency of the Bible. In all matters of life, we need to be looking to the Bible for a proper understanding of God and who He is, as well as a proper understanding of ourselves as His creation, so that we might rightly live for Him and for His glory. And when it comes to the issue of manhood and womanhood, we are not left in the dark on these matters. For the Bible speaks with great clarity on this issue, even though this world seems to be tragically confused. As a result of the influence of feminism and the current forces behind the LGBTQ+ agenda, our society is at a loss for how to answer basic questions like what is a woman or what is a man, let alone what each one of them are supposed to do and how they are to function. What this means is that there is a need for us to strengthen our convictions on what the Bible says about manhood and womanhood, and not be driven and tossed by the winds of cultural influences. Now, you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with biblical counseling? Well, this is important because your view on this issue will affect the type of church that you will attend, as well as how you view yourself as a counselor serving within that church. In addition, your position will also impact whom you will counsel and how you will counsel, as well as what counsel will you give, especially when it comes to marriage counseling and what you might say to a husband as opposed to what you might say to a wife. So what does this have to do with biblical counseling? It has everything to do with biblical counseling, which means that when it comes to the terms that you need to define, you will need to define egalitarianism, which basically teaches that men and women are equal in value and authority and in function, and thus there should be no distinction when it comes to the roles within the home or in the church. And you will also need to define complementarianism, which teaches that men and women are equally created in the image of God and thus are equal in value, but they have been made differently to fulfill different roles and different functions within the home and in the church. When it comes to Bible verses to reference, you should talk about Genesis 1 and 2, which is where we see how God created men and women and made them distinct. 1 Corinthians 11 speaks about the different roles of men and women in general. Ephesians 5 provides a good explanation of the different roles of husbands and wives within the home and in marriage. 1 Timothy 3 and Titus 1 are good places to look for information about how these matters impact roles within the church. And Galatians 3:28 should be referenced because this verse is one of the main passages for the egalitarian position. When it comes to an outline for this question, you should cover things such as a good and fair representation for the egalitarian position and the complementarian position, which includes not just your own understanding, but an official definition from reputable sources from each position and their biblical reasoning for those positions. Second, you should give a clear explanation of the view that you hold, including a strong biblical case for why you hold that position, as well as some brief biblical arguments against the opposing position. And third, you should touch on how your position will impact the way in which you will counsel.